After a demon with hellish halitosis starts your morning by destroying office furniture and leaving you with cryptic threats of looming danger, you'd think the day could only get better. Unfortunately, we were trapped in a heat wave that turned the city into an oven and boiled people's brains. Tempers flared and clients made ridiculous demands. If I were less scrupulous, I could have made decent money as a one-woman hit squad. I swear, every client wanted someone dead. I made a few promises to look into potential cases of adultery and sent the rest home. When I suggested to one woman that she take her kids to the beach for a swim in the ocean to cool off, it seemed like a better alternative to bludgeoning her husband for forgetting to bring home ice cream. She acted like I was the psycho. She said something about me being a child hater and stormed out. Totally effing bizarre. Jinx caught some venom from the woman's glare as she came in carrying a cheap ladder-back chair from our apartment. She raised an eyebrow and set the chair in front of my desk. "What was that all about?" Jinx asked. "I have no freaking idea," I said, shaking my head. "All I did was suggest that the lady take her kids for a swim at the beach. I thought it might keep her out of trouble and give them all a chance to cool off." "You didn't," Jinx groaned. She sank down onto the chair and put her perfectly coiffed head in her hands. I suppose she didn't have to worry about messing up her hair. There was enough hairspray in those bangs to stop a bullet. "What?" I asked. "Is swimming taboo now or something?" "Swimming with man-eating sharks is," Jinx mumbled through her fingers. "Haven't you read the paper, watched the news? It probably has its own Twitter hashtag by now." "Mab's bones," I said, rubbing the back of my neck. "That bad?" "People torn to bloody shreds," Jinx said, lifting her head. She shuddered dramatically, but I could tell it wasn't all theatrics. I'm glad I hadn't watched the news. "At first they thought it was some serial killer because of the livers that are left behind, but the coroner said the bodies were ripped apart in a way that a human couldn't have managed." "Livers?" I asked. I really didn't want to ask, but that detail felt important. Sometimes when working a case, there will be one thing that seems out of place. After a few years on the job, I've learned to pay attention to those anomalous pieces of information. The fact that someone or something was leaving behind human livers seemed significant. "Yes, the bodies were completely shredded," Jinx said, wrinkling her nose. "All except for the livers, which they always find floating on the water or washed up on the beach, totally intact." "Okay, that is completely disgusting," I said, swallowing hard. "At least we know why your client was pissed at you," Jinx said. "You told her and her kids to go swim with sharks." "I can't believe she thought I meant it like that," I said. I could be grouchy and stubborn, but I didn't go out of my way to be rude, and yet people had been acting irritated and offended all day. Well, actually I can. Have you noticed people acting really angry today? "Some guy at the bank had a short fuse," Jinx said. "It's the heat. It makes people crazy." "Oh, speaking of crazy," I said, "you won't believe what happened this morning." I told Jinx all about my encounter with Fornius and his pseudo-threats about a needy client and a danger that faced our city. "Shut up," Jinx said. That's inconceivable," I said. "Yes, but I believe you," Jinx said, tapping a red lacquered nail against her teeth. "You always have bad luck with men." She started to giggle. It was completely contagious. When we finally settled down, I wiped watery eyes with the edge of my shirt and grabbed my shopping list. "I better head to Kay's now if I'm going to get back before dark," I said. "Can you lock up?" "Sure," Jinx said. We bumped knuckles and I walked to the front door. I felt the weight of the crucifix in my back pocket and fingered a small cross necklace that now lay beneath my tank top. I hoped leaving the safety of our building wards was a good idea. I guess I'd find out soon enough. In fact, I was going to have to ask Kay why the wards hadn't kept the demon out. I didn't like having a Fornia-sized hole in our security. With one last wave, I stepped out into the sweltering heat and onto the city streets.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.